Dawn Horwitz-Person is a psychotherapist who works with sex offenders in the Chico community. She has worked with over 1,000 patients, and her work has been featured on the Oprah Winfrey Show.
I needed to be educated to help victims and to help people. And the only way to really understand about why people offend is to work with offenders to understand how they made things okay. How were they able to do that? Most people that get convicted of sexual offenses don't do much time. There's men that commit violent rapes or that molest multiple victims, little boys, little girls, old, young, teenagers, babies, infants, and they never do a day in prison. They go to jail for a few months and get put on probation, realistically. People that I get in treatment that have been convicted of sexual offenses are anything from exposure, voyeurism, unlawful sex with a minor, child pornography, making it, downloading it, exchanging it, rape, molest. It really kind of breaks that myth or that stereotype of this creepy looking guy. They start by these slow successions of making things okay that are not okay. They use cognitive distortions or thinking errors to start to make things okay, oh, I'm doing this to be nice. I personally have a good support system. I have good family support. I have good women friends in my life. I have things I do that help me feel good about myself. I exercise, I dance, I bead, I garden, I do things that I like to do.
Dawn was chosen to be on the Oprah Winfrey Show because of her dedication to improve the community. On February 8, 2010, the episode aired focusing on the stranger danger myth and how to keep your children safe. Oprah interviewed 4 admitted child molesters.
Have I ever been scared? Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I get people that are really mad at me because, I'm a woman, and sometimes I represent something that they're angry with or they have issues with, or they didn't expect to come into sex offender treatment and have to deal with a woman, Gotten really good at setting really strong, firm boundaries, and I don't put up with anything. So if anything starts to go south, I have a plan, a backup plan, and I won't hesitate to call the police. I feel like I can give them tools and help them learn about why they offended, everything they told themselves to make it okay in their minds, and help give them the tools they need to not ever harm another human being again. If they choose to use them or not is sort of up to them, but I think it's something that they need to stay on top of and need to stay diligent about and need to really work hard at.
Jonathan Caudell, a professor in criminal justice at Chico State, was a probation officer who worked with juvenile sex offenders.
One of the aspects, the issues with sex offender treatment is that typically comes after they've been found to commit an offense, they've been adjudicated in the courts, and so they've been sentenced into this treatment, right? And so when you look at it from a treatment perspective, you have rehabilitation on one side, that's a treatment perspective, and then you have enforcement on the other side. And so counseling's over here, the probation department or law enforcement's over here, and so to get them to work together and mesh together is really difficult. As far as what type of a sentence the individual gets, a sex offender gets, there's 2 basic components. There's community supervision and then there's institutionalization. So there's either prison or probation. And of course after prison you can have parole, which is a community supervision, but they initially got incarcerated, right? In the criminal justice perspective and in counseling, if you can express remorse, then you're perceived to be less likely to do that action again, because you empathize with the person that you hurt or victimized. There's a correlation between their ability to integrate their counseling and use that and be remorseful, and the level of sanctions that they get from the criminal justice system.
One of the most important things Dawn emphasized is to make sure children know what appropriate touch is and to be aware if someone is spending too much time with your child.